After the huge controversy over latest Amnesty's stand on Snoopgate, a fresh statement has been released by the human rights NGO. That's the breaking news coming in. Amnesty says, and I quote, Amnesty International categorically stands by the findings of the Pegasus project and that the data is irrefutably linked to potential targets of NSO Group's Pegasus spyware. The false rumors being pushed on social media are intended to distract from the widespread unlawful targeting of journalists, activists and others that the Pegasus project has revealed. Unquote. An Israeli tech firm is in the eye of the snooping storm. Spoken to India Today claims list of countries was not accurate, calls it fabricated information.
What could be the deal between Israel's NSO and India? And what could be the method of procurement?
Actually, I can't refer to any of our customers. I just want to emphasize that NSO is not related to the list published by Forbidden Stories. It is not an NSO list and it never was. Just to say it's fabricating information. It is not a list of targets or potential targets of NSO customers.
Do you think that it was some government agreement between India and Israel for India procuring the software for NSO?
Again, I can't refer to NSO's customers.
When the government of India denies the accusation of snooping on its people, what could be the base and substantial evidence to back the charges leveled in this series of investigations against the government?
So you have to ask the government. I can only speak on behalf of NSO, of course, not on behalf of any other country.
The companies like NSO, and there are a few other companies like them, they're in a very gray area because allegedly and officially they're only selling to governments, and in reality, and especially with NSO, we've seen multiple times that their name is often associated with pretty nefarious things. And they're finding vulnerabilities in phones and devices, and they have exploits that they're using that are called zero-click exploits. So basically, you will get a message that you will never see on your phone, and then something will happen in the background, and Pegasus is now running on your phone without you even knowing it.
The NSO group, residing in the building behind me, found itself this week in the middle of a political turmoil. As a piece of investigative journalism, leveled accusations against the company that its spyware named Pegasus is being used by its customers and governments for unlawful surveillance against human rights activists, journalists, and political leaders. Among the data trove released, there were found hundreds of Indian phone numbers, among them phone numbers of a few dozen journalists, government critics, and even political leaders such as Rahul Gandhi. The company, I should state, is denying the accusations and denying any knowledge of the unlawful use done by its product by its customers.
To get a better understanding of the controversies, we spoke to Israel and US-based cyber tech investigative journalists Omar Kabir and Kim Zetter. Listen in.
How do you look at a list now being called indicative, which global media has taken on face value that these were the names already spied upon?
Well, it's very interesting because Amnesty has actually never changed its statement from the start. What they know is clarifying what they've been saying from the moment the story first came out there and the journalist consortium Forbidden Stories. And they are all been saying this is not a list of NSO's target. This is a list of phone numbers that have been of some interest, maybe legitimate, maybe illegitimate, to governments that are clients of NSO. The problem is that this statement got lost in the way when other media reported about the story, and some of them, a lot of them actually make the jump and claim, well, every number on this list is a number that's being targeted by NSO. This is not the case, and Amnesty is just clarifying it right now. And in fact, they never said it, and they just want to clarify it right now.
So how should this list now be seen? Because it's become a global storm here in India. It's become a major showdown, Omar, in the parliament. So should it be seen only as an indicative now that these names were not spied upon, none of them, or perhaps some may have been, as some journalists are also stating?
Some may have been, yes. I'm guessing most of them have been not. There is no way to tell. This is just a list of numbers that have been of interest, probably to governments that are clients of NSO. They are not indicative of anything in addition to that. What we can say is that another part of the story that this is based on a forensic analysis that has been done to 67 phone numbers, 67 phones, devices that have been handed to Amnesty. On 37 of them, there have been found some evidence of Pegasus software that has been installed. This, as we can say with more certainty, there have been found 37 phones in this research of Pegasus on these phones. The list, I don't think you can say anything with certain about the list. Certainly, you can't say that a number on the list equals a number being tracked or targeted by Pegasus.
I think that people are misinterpreting Amnesty's statement. The bottom line is that there is evidence that at least 37 phones on that list were indeed targeted or spied on using the Pegasus software. What Amnesty is saying is that there is a list of 50,000 phone numbers from which those 37 numbers were taken. 50,000 phone numbers, they don't know if all of those people were spied on. They were only able to obtain 67 phones. It's a lot of work to track down the owners of these phones, to get permission from them in order to do a forensic examination of the phones, and then to determine if the Pegasus software is on them. So they were only able to obtain 67 phones that were on the list. And of those 67, 37 showed evidence of having been targeted with the Pegasus spyware. So the list is not a hoax. It's not a bluff. The list raises legitimate questions about who is being spied on with the software. The only question is, though, is whether all 50,000 people on that list were indeed